Let me let me talk about. So this is video. I don't know if anybody knows whose Vice Grip Garage is. Okay, and if there's a guy named Derek, he has Vice Grip Garage. His Chevelle, the Independence. He goes out and he finds carts and builds them. And if anybody's watched my channel from the beginning, in fact, we even when he brought the Independence down to Cletus McFarland's place about a year ago, we actually debuted the car by accident because I lived here. We shot the video up there. We debuted it that night, got 93,000 hits, and then he went back when he was lived. They were him and his family were living. Derek and their family was living up in Minnesota, and so I'll be honest with you. His video probably was the one that took the video of his car, and I met him that night. I'm wearing my Vice Grip Bride shirt that I got that day. In fact, his wife gave me $5 off because they weren't taking credit cards at the time, and I only had cash, and I only had a 20. So and you can watch the video. I'm not even going in there. If you want to go back and watch the video, you'll see it. You know, it's not like we're friends and hang out or anything else, but I've met him there. I met him another time. This was up at Cletus McFarland's, which is the same place that we go. It's in Bradenton. I spend time up there. You've seen many videos of different places up there, drag strips and everything else. So what is this video about? This video is about somebody came on their new property. They moved to Tennessee. Derek and his family moved to Tennessee for Vice Grip Garage. They share their lives with us, and his channel was the one I first watched that April had told me, hey, you love cars, you should go out and do something like this. And of course mine is different than that because I don't have the mechanical knowledge that he does, but I have the curiosity to go out and find things, and I like to travel and I like to explore. So I do what I do, they do what they do. And he has 1 million followers. If you've never watched Vice Grip Garage, highly recommend. But here's the thing. He has 2 young kids and his wife, and he is one of the bigger channels on YouTube, and I think he has 1 million followers. Anyway, he leaves his property and his house, and he goes and finds cars and then drives them back. Sometimes they're a half a day away, a couple hours. Sometimes they're like the one he did a couple months or a month or so ago was like 700 miles away, and he drove a model, I believe it was a Model A. You can watch the video, it's really cool. And he drove a Model A back that he had bought. Well, while he was gone, and the family was gone, someone broke in, and they broke in, they opened up hoods on his property of cars that he has, went into his shop, I'm assuming shop because I've been watching some things here, and they said the doors were open. I swear I hope it's his shop and not his house, but they said doors were open to the shop that he has, and from what I saw on the one YouTube thing that they were talking about, he had somebody stole at least a carburetor. I don't know if there was more than that, but they were talking about a carburetor, and he put up a $5,000 reward for who this is. Now, this happened in Tennessee. I'm not going to say where in Tennessee. That's not up to me to tell. But he lives in Tennessee because they moved there. And he put up a $5,000 reward for people coming on his property. He's talked a little bit about it. I don't even know where I saw him talking about it. I want to say that maybe it was on his channel, or maybe it was on he has 2 channels. So he also has his Vice Grip Garage, and then he has his home channel, another channel where he talks about his homestead. But it freaked out the family, according to everybody else. In fact, Cletus McFarland and Vice Grip Garage has done a lot of stuff down there. Derek's been down there a lot of times. He's also matching the $5,000. There's a $10,000 reward for the person who did this. Now, the family, because like I said, they have 2 young boys. He's about 20 years younger than I am, so they still have young kids, and he's freaked out, as you would. And I've had stuff stolen back in the 90s. I had a 3-wheel ATC stolen off a trailer that I still had on. I had tied hooked onto the back of my Corvette. I had a C3 Corvette. I had the keys left. I had left it. I went inside, fell asleep, left it in the driveway with the keys in it, T-tops off, with a trailer with an ATC. And for the whatever reason, the people, whoever took it, sat out there, and you could see where they tried to cut through at least two bolts of this big chain that was holding the ATC, and they finally did, and they took the ATC. All they had to do was get in the Corvette, turn the motor on, and drive away. They could have done that. They didn't. They just took the ATC, the three-wheeler. And April's had her business, one of her businesses a couple years ago got broken into. They took a big screen TV and some other stuff out of the lobby of something she had. And you know, when someone steals from you, it really makes you feel like vulnerable. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're The Rock or you're, just a 98-year-old lady that lives in a house. Stealing and breaking in is something that messes with people. And I'm ex-military, and in the Navy, stealing is the word. Being a thief is way worse than anything else I could think of. Being a spy or a thief are about the same in my book. That's, I think, the way the Navy looks at it, because stealing on a ship or stealing in the military is, if you can't trust somebody, like that breaks down trust in the whole unit. And these guys here, their whole family, they don't want to sleep in their house anymore or anything else. This really freaks people out, especially because Tennessee, if you've ever been, and we go up there a lot. I don't believe I think it's on the other side of the state from where Derek is. But we go up there all the time to April's brother's house, or not all the time, but I mean over the years. And the people there are the friendliest in the world. I've also lived in Memphis when I was stationed in Millington, Tennessee, and the people there were some of the nicest people in the world. I mean, the people in Nashville are some of the nicest people in the world, but you do have people there that will steal. And what this is about is, if you know anything about who stole this, there is a $10,000 reward. If you know anybody who broke in there, there's a reward. That being said, if you know anything, please reach out to Vice Grip Garage, or send a comment, or send a message to me. I'll message them, or just message them yourself, or reach out to the Tennessee Bureau of, I don't even know what it is. It's probably the Bureau of Investigation. I know we're in Florida. We have the FDLC, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. I'm sure they have something like that. If you reach out to them, if you have information, if you hear something, if you see somebody trying to sell a carburetor that they got from Derek, and it's on Marketplace or something, or they're trying to, deal something with Vice Grip Garage. I mean, I know he pointed out last year that they're already having their merchandise, their shirts and all. People are making designs, which is one of the reasons why we have a hard time deciding if we're even going to put merchandise out, because people copy it and then they make money on it, and then it's your name because they're making money on cheap stuff, and people think you're selling cheap stuff. So that's one of the issues with this. The second thing is, I know what it's like to have stalkers. I was a writer many years ago, back 30 years ago, when I wrote novels. And I've also been around, I remember being on the tour with Paul McCartney, the New World Tour in '93, and they put anything Paul touched had to go in burn bags at the time. Whether it was a napkin or whatever, because so many Beatle fanatics would be digging through trash, so they had to burn everything. I've seen this kind of stuff, and it's not fun, and it's not right, and it's not the right thing to do. And even talking to you guys, and I love the fact that I have 10,000 people that think that my channel is worthy enough to subscribe to. He has 1 million people. He has over 1 million subscribers. Can you imagine the pressure that comes with 1 million subscribers? Imagine the traffic that comes in of everybody wanting to meet you. And I can tell you right now, every time I've seen this guy down with the Cleus McFarland at the racetrack down there at Cleus's place, the Freedom Factory, he has a line that's hours long. I mean, he does nonstop, and I've never seen him turn people away unless he has to go do what he's there to do, which is either do burnouts or race. Other than that, I have seen Derek, I've seen his wife, I've seen her kids. They just sit there and take picture after picture and sign everything, or take a video, or do a greeting, or do everything. This man I have seen in real life is just like he is. And he was like that to me, and that's how I am, and that's how most people on YouTube are. We're real people. That being said, just like your child's teacher, or just like your bartender that's at your favorite pub, or just like your car mechanic at home, or just like your doctor, these people are happy to see you. And like a bartender or like a teacher, they're happy to talk to you about their family or your family. They're happy to meet with you, but you just don't go to their house uninvited. I like last one of the videos we just did. We went to KSR racing in Gainesville, and I don't know Kevin. I just seen him on TV, and so, but we were near there, and I thought, let me go over and see where it is, because they have a lot of events there, and it was a weekend, and I didn't expect anybody to be there. We got there, the doors were wide open or anything. I just walked in. I did not have my camera running, as you saw if you watched the video. It's only about 30 seconds. I put it at the tail end of another video. The one with the police interceptor, the police Challenger, FHP Challenger. And I thought, well, let me go in. So I went in and talked to the guys. I didn't film in there. I didn't even ask permission to film. I went in, just introduced and said, hey, guys, I live down here, or we live over here, and I just wanted to see the place. And the doors were open. We knocked. They came out. We talked for a couple of minutes, and then we walked out. The rest of the team was racing and stuff. But we knew where it was. And this was a business. It's a business that KSR is a business that has customers and everything come there. They do have a YouTube channel, but it's a business. It's open to the public. It's advertised to the public. And I did not do anything in the public. I walked in, said hello, did not film anything, and just wanted to be there because other things were there. Now, if they had an open event where they were inviting YouTubers, or they were having a party of some kind, and like when we do the racing, the Hot Rod Power Tour or something, if they invite people there, that's a whole different thing. That's inviting. If Derek would have a car show at his house, that would be a different thing, but I don't think he's going to do that. But when it's his house, you need to respect the boundaries, please, of some of the people, especially the ones with small families. Come up to them. Come up to me. If you see me, I don't mind. I have no issues with people coming up. I had people come up to me a lot. More recently, especially at car shows, people are starting to know who I am or whatever, and that's great. And I love talking to y'all. And I've talked to some of you guys on the phone. Some of the things, some people have called me, and we've just talked about stuff that's not even car related sometimes. And I've answered emails and everything else. But you got to realize at some point, even if Derek is showing you the backyard of his house and the kids helping him cut down trees and stuff on Vice Grip Lodge and stuff, that doesn't give anybody an invitation to come on a property. It doesn't give you an invitation to come on to their house. If you want to be a part of someone's life, just like in any other part of your life, if you know your teacher, you don't stop by their house. You don't go to your doctor's house. You don't go to a bartender's house. Now, you might start conversing with people, and then over time become a friend of somebody's. And then if they invite you over and stuff, that's a whole different thing. And that happens. I worked in show business for a long time, and I had friends that were rock stars, and I had friends that were well-known actors. But I also had somebody, and this is a perfect example. One of the earliest things I ever worked on was a movie called with Tommy Lee Jones called Blue Sky, and it had Jessica Lange in it. And this is back about 1991. And I was started as an extra, but then I got hired as another extra. Then I got hired to be a stand-in for a little bit down here when they were filming in Florida. And I was Tommy Lee Jones' stand-in for a couple scenes because I guess something happened to his stand-in or whatever. But I just remember that I've been on some films with some big stars where they are like, you can call me by my first name or whatever. But Tommy Lee Jones was like, they were just like, he's Mr. Jones. He is if you think of him as the CEO of the Tommy Lee Jones Corporation, he is professional, which he was, and he was professional and courteous and everything else. But we're not friends. We're not talking to each other outside of work. He has his own life, and you have your life, and you just do your thing, he does his thing. And I've found that out with some rock stars or some country music stars over 15 years, and some other ones you're like, hey, they talk to you all the time and stuff. So um, what I'm trying to say is the people you see on YouTube, while I am the same way, if somebody met me or talked to me, I'm the same way you see me. Derek is exactly as friendly, and his whole family's as friendly as you see them. But now you freak them out because you're coming to their house. Just like I wouldn't come to your house. He wouldn't come to your house without an invitation. Please don't go to people. That's not that's not what it is. It's not saying that you won't become friends with somebody, but it's just like anything else. You may be friends with your child's teacher, you may not be. You may have a professional relationship. Think of them as professional relationships. People are talking to you. We're friendly people you work with. There's people at your job that you work with that you've never been to their house before. You will never be at their house. But at work, they're cool and everybody's friendly. And hey, you'll have cake, you'll eat lunch, you talk about the kids, you'll talk about your life, and then maybe share some pictures. What did you do this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe even after work, go out, have a drink, but you never go back to their house. They never come to your house. And that's kind of the relationship if you think of it that way. It's not that people aren't nice. And it's not that sometimes people become friends. I've become friends with people. There's one friend of mine who's 25 years older than I am, worth $400 million, and he's not known for friends, but him and I have been friends, very close, for good friends, just hanging out sometimes. It happens, but you can't assume that it is something that's going to happen, and please don't assume that you are welcome at someone's house when you're not. I don't have small kids. I've helped raise small kids years ago, but Derek is about 20 years younger than me. His kids are small. They're protective. So two things I just want you to take away from this. A, if you know anything about the people that came on his property, and I hope to God it's just some local kid or some local guy that saw a farm with a bunch of cars and thought, I'm going to go get some parts, nobody's around. That being the case, I can guarantee you there's cameras and everything else. It probably won't ever happen again. Hopefully they'll find the guy. He doesn't even know who Derek is. Maybe he just saw the family leave or something and thought, I'm going to go get some stuff because there's nobody walking around there for a day or two. That is the hope, that he didn't do this as a stalker. He didn't do this because he knows that Vice Group Garages. He just did it. Even so, we still need to catch a guy because that's a thief. Second, that the other thing you take away from this, the second thing to take away from this is, please realize that while people invite other people into their lives through YouTube, it's not an invitation to come to the house. Come up to people in public, come up to people at car shows, come up to people at racing events, come up to people at public events, come up to people if you see them at Disney World, or if you see them eating. If I'm eating somewhere and somebody sees me, hey, I got no problem saying hey. And nobody else does either. And I didn't have a problem when I used to be a writer. I didn't have a problem when I used to work in the entertainment business. I don't have a problem doing it now. Derek is the nicest guy in the world. His family is the nicest guy in the world, or nicest people in the world. But realize that, just like you, there's people that you know, and there's people that are acquaintances. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're an acquaintance, and we love to see you, and we love to talk to you, and we love to hear about what you have to say. But there's a time and place. And just please, time and place. So we're looking at, you can get yourself $10,000 if you know anything. Reach out to Tennessee Bureau of Investigation if that's a real thing, or however they call their Tennessee law enforcement. And second, please respect. Sometimes people just want to spend time with their family, and you do too. More so than ever, the people on YouTube that you see are just regular people. And they invite everybody into their lives. I invite people into my life, and I am happy to see you outside of my house. But, I don't have little kids to protect. He does. And Just like you wouldn't want strangers coming up talking to your kids or anything else or walking to your property, please respect. That's all. I didn't want to make this video. I don't think it's something that should have to be made, but I made it for two reasons. One, maybe somebody out there knows something and or heard something or saw something, and so that would be awesome. And number two, just to kind of remind people that while everybody is friendly, you're friendly to people, but you don't invite somebody you don't know just to come to your house anytime you want and walk around your yard and take things. That's all. So, anyway, I'll be putting up some regular videos here soon. Actually, not soon. I'm editing them now, so they'll probably be up by tomorrow night. I hope. If you have comments about this, please put your comments down if you want to. I'm just putting this out there because I just think it needs to be put out there. It's not really about me, because I only have, there's 10,000 of you. I've only had 1 million back. He has 1 million followers, and I just can't imagine. I mean, what do you imagine? And what do you, I mean, I don't know. My theory is that, my honest to God theory probably is because they're new to Tennessee. They've got a lot of cars parked somewhere. Somebody noticed the cars, but if I was driving down a back road and saw a property like his and I could see those cars, from my channel, I would probably stop, walk up, and ask him, hey, introduce myself at the door. If nobody was home, I wouldn't go on the property. But somebody did. But I'm hoping maybe it's somebody who maybe doesn't have the ethics I have, or maybe doesn't have, maybe it's somebody who saw the cars and wanted some parts and just waited till they didn't see anybody around, came in. Because from what I'm hearing is hoods were open, doors to the shop were left open, and everything else. That's what they're saying. And at least one carburetor was pulled. That's what one of the YouTube videos said. So I'm hoping it's just somebody who has no idea who Derek is, and they just happen to come on that property to get some car parts. Because me doing what I do, where I find places that look like his, that have maybe 30 cars out there, or they're in a field or something, I hear all the time about these guys that say, this is, people come on. That's why you never see, like, if it's a private place, I don't put addresses. I don't let people see what the houses look like. I don't give you guys the addresses of houses. If it's a business, if it's somebody selling something that wants to put information out, I would. But I don't show the front of places. I don't show where I find them. I might tell you the town. I might tell you the area, South Florida, Southwest Florida, North Florida, the mountains of somewhere, the town of this. But I purposely don't give specifics to private individuals, because God, if somebody did this to a place that I'd be heartbroken if somebody broke into a place that I featured.